Amount Sense Development by Jeff Simpson, MasteryLearningSystems.com. This video shows how to teach kindergartners to recognize amounts from 0 to 10. The lessons use a guided discovery approach. You tell the students what to do, show them how to do it, and make sure that they do it right. And as they follow your lead, they will have aha moments that enable them to understand what they're doing and get good at doing it. The lessons are specifically designed to enable all children in the class to succeed. The white print will model for you what to say during the lessons, and the smaller yellow print will tell you what to do or explain why you're doing it. Go to the end of the video to see notes on what to be aware of when working with students who are learning about amount for the very first time. There is a time in every student's life when the only amount they know about is 1. This lesson begins at that point for those who may need it, but the same techniques apply to the learning of greater amounts too. Have a copy of this page from my kindergarten math book ready to show the class, or make your own page that looks like it. Have this page ready too. And copy this page for each student. 1 and 2 are the only amounts on the page. 1 is the amount they already know, and 2 is the amount that they're going to learn. Sit on your big chair in front of the class with all of the students sitting on the floor in rows facing you. Hold this page in front of your body so the class can see it. Gesturing to all the circles, say, "This is a picture of some cookies." Dragging your finger across the black circles, say, "These are chocolate cookies." Dragging your finger across the white circles, say, "These are vanilla cookies." Watch while I count all the cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure all the students are watching as you slowly touch and count each cookie. Count all the cookies with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Scan the room to make sure all the students are counting aloud with you. You count all the cookies first as a reminder of how the counting words go. With your counting words fresh in their mind, the pupils are likely to say the words correctly without guessing or jumbling the order. The pupils have heard the counting words before this, but didn't necessarily attach any meaning to them. The meaning of those counting words is revealed as you demonstrate counting with a sense of one-to-one correspondence. You touch a cookie and say a number, touch one, say one, and so on. This is a brand new concept for some of the children. Now, count the chocolates with me. 1, 2. Make sure all the students are counting aloud with you as you slowly touch and count the 2 chocolates. When the chocolates run out, the children stop counting aloud. They're beginning to learn that the last number they just said tells how many things there are. They are aware that they said 1, 2 aloud. They are also subliminally aware that they did not say 3, 4, 5. Now, watch while I drag my finger across the chocolates and say 2. Ready? 2. This finger dragging action and the fact that you're saying 2 helps the students move from experiencing the chocolates as a 1-2 phenomenon to seeing them as the amount 2, which means everything up to and including 2. Combining brief actions with brief words creates a comprehensible context of meaning. How many chocolates are there? 2 chocolates. Drag your finger across the chocolates as you say the word 2. Now, I'm going to call on a student to come here and count the cookies the way I did. Have the student sit on the floor in front of you so that she must reach up to touch the cookies on your paper. All the other students will be able to see the whole process clearly. Okay, count all the cookies with me. Your finger touches the cookies from above, while the student touches them from below, following your lead. You control the pace of counting, leading the student to say 1 and touch 1, say 1 and touch 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now, count the chocolates with me. 1, 2. Now, drag your finger and say 2. This part is the trickiest for some learners. You may need to take hold of the student's finger and drag it across the 2 chocolates, and then have the student do it again by himself. How many chocolates are there? There are 2. Together, drag your fingers across the 2 chocolates as you both say 2. Repeat this process with a few other students. Alternately, call on students who are likely to need your help and students who can perform without your guiding hand, who will reinforce the proper model for the other students to follow. Now, hold up your copy of this page and ask the whole class, how many chocolates do you see now? They all recognize 1 chocolate. Touch it as you all say 1 together. The students do not need a counting process to determine that there is only 1 chocolate. We started the lesson with 2 chocolates in order to introduce the counting process, which will be used when discovering all the amounts greater than 2. So you do 2 first and then 1. Now, give a copy of this page to each student, along with a blank piece of paper, and have them sit at their tables or their desks. Hold up your blank paper, everyone. You model that for them. Put your blank paper on your cookie page like this. Check and make sure they did it. Point to the first box on your cookie page like this. When you direct the students to touch the first box, you can see if they're following your directions or not. If you only tell them to look at the first box, you can't really tell where they're directing their attention. When you see a child not touching the box as directed, quickly compliment a student who is following directions and start moving in the direction of the child that needs correction. If that is not enough to get the child on task, gently take the child's finger and put it on the box. Be congenially relentless in your insistence that all children follow all your directions exactly. That is how you prevent them from falling behind. How many chocolates are in this box? 1. That's right. Point to the next box on your cookie page like this. Count all the cookies in that box with me. Ready? This is step 1 of the counting process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, we counted all the cookies. Now, count the chocolates with me. Step 2. Ready? 1, 2. Now drag your finger and say 2. How many chocolates are there? 2 chocolates. Point to the next box on your cookie page like this. How many chocolates are in this box? 1. That's correct. Point to the next box, everybody. Go through the 4 steps of the counting process. First, they count all the cookies, then count the chocolates, then drag their finger and say, and then how many chocolates are there? Point to the next box. I wonder how many chocolates are in this box. Do you think there's 1 or 2? 2? But we didn't count them yet. How did you know? Could you tell just by looking at them? Point to the last box on the bottom. How many chocolates are there? 1. 1? Yeah, that's right. Yay! You counted all the cookies. Everyone clap for yourselves. No, wait, I have a good idea. Everyone clap 2 times. Here, do it with me. Now do this slowly so they can sense the one-to-one correspondence as you clap 2 times. 1, 2. Well, I bet you never did that before. Watch for students who only heard your directions as blah, 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 clap, blah, who just started clapping indiscriminately without considering that they're supposed to count and clap with a sense of one-to-one correspondence. It is not enough to provide the students with an activity that might lead to learning. You must make sure that every student gets the point of the lesson and performs properly. Model the activity with the student until he can perform it independently, putting your hands on the student's hands if necessary. Hey, here's something else you can do. Put up 2 fingers like this, or like this, depending on where you live. Help the children who are struggling, and compliment those who have managed the coordination by themselves. If you think the students need more practice with the new amount, you can also have them hop twice. They have to stand up. That's fun to hop around a little bit. Stomp twice. Turn around twice. And you have to help them so they do all these things correctly. Blink twice. Draw and color 2 chocolate cookies. Do 2 toe touches. Take 2 giant steps. Take 2 baby steps. Eat 2 imaginary bugs. Whack 2 monsters, etc. Rather than counting 2 physical objects, this extended practice of 2-ness involves doing something 2 times. You can engage the whole class in a couple of these activities and then do more of them later with individuals or small groups that need more practice. The activities can feel like playing if you act as if you're improvising them. While the kindergartners are enjoying the stimulation of their imagination, they will actually be getting extended practice in following the teacher's directions. These games can be used again later for learning amounts greater than 2. Take your blank paper and move it over here so we can see the cookies on the other side of the page. Who would like to count the chocolates in the first box? Call on a student who's likely to need your help. Go through the 4 steps of the counting process with him. And there's the 4 steps if you need them. Call on other individual students to finish the rest of the page. Some learners quickly internalize the 4 steps of the counting process, but others will need you to verbally prompt the 4 steps for a longer period of time. At this point, most beginners easily recognize 2 as an amount. Most, but perhaps not all. Now it's time to pay attention to individual needs. Give the faster learners a bigger challenge so they can celebrate how well they're doing. For example, tell me how many chocolates are in each box on the whole page. Or have them move on to a more difficult lesson. Exceptionally advanced learners can have bigger challenges, such as, tell me how many vanillas are in each box on the page. Or even, tell how many chocolates and how many vanillas are in each box. Give advanced challenges like these privately and quietly so that other learners do not overhear and get confused. Give the slower learners a series of smaller challenges to build their accuracy, speed, and confidence, such as, touch a box with 1 chocolate in it. Good. Okay, find another box with 1 in it. I know, touch all the boxes that have 1. While they're doing this, they are also noticing the not 1 amounts. You can do the same thing, focusing on the new amount. Touch a box with 2 chocolates in it. Find another box with 2 in it. Touch all the boxes that have 2. You can use the blank paper differently to give a fresh feel to learning tasks that are really the same. How many chocolates are in this box? How many in that box? Move your blank paper down. How many in this box? In that box? Move your paper down, and so on. If you still need to create more practice opportunities, work your way up from the bottom of the page. So they can show the boxes on the bottom, and then the next ones above that, and so on. Most students do not need this much practice, but it is good to be prepared for extreme cases. Also, you can use a variety of practice formats for providing freshness when you review the same lesson on the following days for students who tend to forget easily. This lesson began when the only amount the students knew about was 1. Now that they have acquired a sense of 2-ness, they're ready to use the same approach for learning about 3. You'll need a page which shows 3 chocolates and 2 vanillas. Count all the cookies with me. Demonstrate for the class as you did at first. This is the first step 1 of the counting process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good work, everybody. Now, count the chocolates with me. 1, 2, 3. Now, I drag my finger across the chocolates and say 3. How many chocolates are there? There are 3 chocolates. As you did before, call on a student to demonstrate counting the new amount with you. Your finger touches the cookies from above while the student touches them from below. Control the pace of counting, leading the student to touch and count with a sense of one-to-one correspondence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go through the 4 steps of the counting process with the student while the class watches. And there's the 4 steps. then call on some other students to take a turn at this. Now, hand out a page which contains only 2 and 3 chocolates, narrowly focusing on the amount that they just finished learning and the new amount that they are in the process of learning. Do not have them count the chocolates in the first box. They've already practiced recognizing the amount too. So just have them point to the first box and tell you how many chocolates there are. So you don't count those, you just ask. Then point them to the second box and lead them through the 4 steps of the counting process to help them gain fluency in recognizing the new amount. And have them practice the whole page. Sometimes have the whole class count the new amount together, and sometimes call on individual students, both to test them and to give them an opportunity to enjoy showing what they can do. Follow this with a cumulative page that contains 1, 2, and 3 in random order. For struggling students, have them touch all the boxes that have 1 chocolate, then all the 2s, then the 3s. For less challenged students, have them go straight through the page telling how many chocolates are in each box. On both sides, of course. Then follow with another cumulative page that deals with the same amounts, but with the chocolates scattered. When the students demonstrate that they easily recognize the new amount, 3, and differentiate it from the previously learned amounts, then it's time to move on to the next new amount, 4. So you use the same kind of pages as before. After your students become fluent with 4, use the same step-by-step process to guide their mastery of 5, then 0, that's an important one, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here are some other practice formats for chocolate and vanilla that are presented in my kindergarten math book. Scattered, vertical, then without the vanillas, and vertical without the vanillas, and larger amounts. The chocolate and vanilla pages continue through the first 3 chapters of kindergarten math, interspersed with other creative material, enabling students to become confidently familiar with amounts up to 10. My book is available online at masterylearningsystems.com and at teacherspayteachers.com. When you use these lessons, be sure to differentiate instruction to meet individual needs. Watch the students' eyes and facial expressions, as well as what they do with their hands, and listen to their voices, and you will know which learners need a slower pace, more repetition, and more close-up individual attention than others, which pupils need more review and more supportive activities such as clapping, stomping, drawing, and so on, to consolidate their learning. Some students with behavior problems may need to be instructed individually away from the class, either before or after your planned lesson. Take care that pupils who have been absent or who have enrolled late in the school year are not allowed to slip by without mastering these lessons. Fluency with amounts up to 10 is the foundation for all that follows. Make time to get them caught up individually or in small groups. It is not enough to claim that I taught them but they didn't learn it. Do whatever it takes to get the job done, but have fun doing it. Before you begin the lessons, informally assess individual pupils to get an idea of what they already know. For example, while all the students are busy with some activity, ask individual students, using a respectful, curious tone of voice, hey, have you ever counted things before? Could you tell me how many fingers I'm showing? put out 4 fingers and observe their response. Okay, thanks. Do not offer any corrections or instructions at this time. Just make a mental note of who may need more help in your upcoming lesson. Some kids have the wrong idea about telling amounts. When adult holds up some fingers and asks, "How many?" they think they're supposed to guess one of the counting words. If the adult smiles, "Yay, they guessed right." For some reason, though, the other kids usually guess right. Well, they usually guess wrong. That can make them feel stupid and sometimes even anxious to avoid playing the game. The 4-step counting process is designed to enable these children to stop guessing words and start thinking mathematically. There are a few things to keep in mind that will help you to be patient and watchful with students who are learning about amount for the very first time. The idea of 3, for example, seems pretty simple to someone who already gets it, but 3 has more meanings than you might think. 3 can be a number on a player's jersey. There are not 3 of him. He's not the third best. He's just player number 3. It's a label. This kind of number has nothing to do with amount. A kindergartner might recognize the numeral 3, but not be able to count 3 buttons. 3 can be the number on a classroom door. Room number 3 might be the first classroom down the hall. This is not an amount. 3 can be a digit in your phone number. Most people never think of this as having anything to do with amount either. 3 can signify the third in a series of objects. The hand is pointing to button number 3. But it is only one button. That could be confusing. When we're adding 3 plus 3, the first group of buttons includes buttons number 1, 2, and 3. That's everything up to and including 3. This is an amount. But the second group includes buttons number 4, 5, and 6. The second amount, which definitely is 3, doesn't even include button number 3. Children are amazingly good at physical imitation, but they don't always understand the idea behind what they're able to imitate. Children are also incredibly good at verbal imitation, but they don't always understand the thinking behind what they've copied. The fact is, a child can hold up 10 fingers and say the word 10 without knowing what 10 means or recognizing it in any other contexts. The guided discovery lessons in this video circumvent the inappropriate use of these talents and lead to authentic learning by carefully combining brief words and brief actions to create meaning. At every point in the lesson, you must proceed in such a way that you have evidence that each student fully understands what is being said and done. The students do not need to read or write numerals for these lessons to make sense. In fact, the chocolate and vanilla lessons do not address the issue of numeral recognition at all. Numeral recognition is addressed in my kindergarten math book and in my YouTube video, Learning to Count to 10. Here's a link. Well, now you've got the main ideas for how to use the chocolate and vanilla lessons to develop amount sense for your beginning learners. I wish you lots of joy and success with your students. Thanks for watching my video. Please share these ideas with people who can benefit from them.